Okay. Okay, the host has unmuted my mic. I got to put my mic over here. Hello, Mr. Racine, standing by. Javier. Oh, look at Javier. Allodial title and land patent, and what does it provide? You got me, brother. Got me spinning on that one. Federal Reserve note, IOU. Let me. There's no illegal temporary debts program. We trust government. We're going to pay national debt. Yes. Hello, William. William Califat. I will not be picking on you today, so you can take the rest of the day off, pretty much. But I got some cool stuff I want to run past all of you. I just got notification that in light of being the mean Mr. Wonderful of the multifamily shark pool, I've been asked back to the revised, updated version of Cornelius Cannon's shark pool. Surprisingly, though, so I think I got the best ratings. That's why I'm being asked. The only reason why I'm being asked, not because I'm Mr. Wonderful, that's for sure. Feel free to pick up. Yeah, sure. Oh, listen, Evan, we're working on that Friday night time. You might need to come sooner. I don't know. We'll see, but we'll figure that out. Okay, so what I want to talk about, I want to share with you some of the steps that we're doing to help people, help our clients get to build their investor database over a step-by-step process. Because I think, if we do this gradually over time, we're going to see a lot more growth in your database. If you're looking for deals and you're not building your investor database, you are not building your business the right way. If you are, as Jillian Sidoti always says, if you start looking for money when you get the deal under contract, you're too late. So what you have to be doing at all times, every time you look at a property, you got to be reaching out to an investor. And the easiest way to do that is to set it up in a system so that it runs itself. And so what we are doing in our business building program, MultifamilyOS, is to help our clients start with the process of building that out and making it happen. So here's how we do it. And it all stems from how I got started in this business and how I was able to be successful on our first deal that we got under contract and brought through to the closing table. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that, and remember, when I started, we didn't have constant contact. We didn't have these CRMs that everybody has now. Even I've built my own CRM, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. But we had to do it really grassroots. And, I don't even think LinkedIn was in its infancy when we get started. So we couldn't even promote ourselves on LinkedIn. The way we did it was through friends and family. When we got our first deal done, it was all done through friends and family. The way we did it was, now let me give you the backstory. So I sell my insurance business. I'm done. I will never do insurance again. Look where I am now, trying to build my own insurance company. And it is a we go through the training with some of these coaches out there. We learn how to do the business. And at the same time, we're reaching out to all of our friends and family via email, and just every week or every day, we're sending it out there. Hey, how's it going? Hey, this is what we're doing this week. It really became a conversational style of marketing to let our friends and family know. Yeah, exactly, John. Isn't it to let our friends and family know that this is what we're doing with our business and what we're looking to get into in multifamily. And it became a story. They were entrenched in our story. They were engrossed. They wanted to know what was happening next. How did it go this time? What happened with that deal? And then we realized we just started putting this on a blast email, and we started just communicating with all the people ready to go. And then the people started communicating with each other. And they started talking about, hey, this is really cool. Looking forward to it. Let us know what's happening. So by the time we got that first deal under contract that went to closing, and the way I make that stipulation, the way I make that distinguishing factor is because we got other deals under contract that we killed. And we told our investors all about that part of the story too. And they loved it. So when we got to the top part where we were ready to rock and roll and we're able to get to the closing table, they were already indebted. I mean, they were ready to write the checks. And within 9 days, we raised $350,000 from our friends and family. So we had, several of us were already core people. So 300,000, we got 300,000 out of 4 of us, my wife and me being one of the 4. So that became the core group. And we raised 300, the other people 350,000. We bought our first deal, 40-unit property. So that was how we were able to do it. And all the investors, within 9 days, they had the checks written in the bank, and we were ready to go. It was great. And that's how we were able to build and start our multifamily business. Now, over the years, I've learned a lot of techniques, do's and do nots, as to how to build that database and how to tell the story. And what I realized, and through coaching so many students, is that they were making a big mistake of they weren't asking enough questions. Now, for those of you that understand sales and marketing, especially sales, in order to be a salesperson, you've got to ask good questions. You have to constantly ask questions. We teach our people in sales. You have to ask 10 questions to the prospect before you even talk to them about our program. So that is exactly how you do it. You're trying to raise money after the deal is just painful. Listen, Blake, I'm going to talk about that. That's a great point. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Okay, I won't read these comments anymore because it take me off track. Where was I? What was I just saying that? So the biggest mistake is that you don't vet your investors. You don't ask them the right questions. You don't find out what their pain points are. You don't find out what it's going to take to get them to yes. But you have to understand that these are customers and you have to treat them exactly like a customer. So what I see many new investors doing is they find out like, oh, Uncle Joe has money. Well, I'll talk to Uncle Joe about investing in my group. Oh, hey, yes, Uncle Joe said yes. He's got $100,000 he'd put into a multifamily deal. But the problem is you didn't ask all the right questions. Uncle Joe, what type of multifamily? Where does it have to be? What type of returns are you looking for? What if I came to you with this type of deal? What type of control you're looking for? Really find out from Uncle Joe, and also find out, are you accredited? Are you not accredited? Find out from Uncle Joe exactly what it is that he wants in a deal, so that you can make sure that you find that type of deal for Uncle Joe. So what I've done for my new students is to set up a system where they can do exactly that. They can ask, or if they're afraid to ask, which is, I totally get it. Many people are afraid to raise money. They're afraid to ask those tough questions. Well, let us do it for you. And we're going to show you exactly how we do that in just a minute in our CRM. But I talked about a process. I talked about creating a process so this gets started for you and you can build upon it. The first step in that process is what we call the initial investor email. And what we do for our students is we ask you 3 questions. I want you to answer these 3 questions and then send that form back over to us. And when we get that form, we are going to edit it, and we're going to fix it up, make sure it says all the right things, and then we're going to give it back to you so that you can then go ahead and send it out to your friends and family as the initial email to them describing what you're doing with your new business and getting them to sign up and get started learning about what you're doing. And from that point on, there'll be other emails every week. We're going to give our investors another email that they can send out to their group. Sometimes we're going to write it and give it to you. Other times we're going to tell you what to write. So for instance, one crucial email is a kind of a funnel, several different emails where we talk about why multifamily. You see, you understand multifamily. You come to these classes, you do take all the training, so you know why multifamily is a good investment and they should be involved in it, but it doesn't mean that they do. So we need to have a series of emails in a very conversational way that talks about why multifamily. Okay, great. We're going to put that into your investor library. You're going to send that out. You can do it right from the system. It's going to automatically send that email to your investors, or you can have your VA do it for you. And then the next email may be talking about your journey. What did you do this week to bring your deals to your investors, to find more deals for your investors? Just tell it in a nice conversational way. Get it out the door. You always want to be keeping them in the loop. It's also going to keep you focused because you want to keep the story going as well. So let me talk here about the first step you should take in building a multifamily database. So what we do is we call it the Who Am I letter. And basically all we want are 3 sentences that tell the extent of your multifamily journey. Let it tell you what your motivations are, why you've been wanting to do this, for how long you've been wanting to do this, what have you already accomplished. We want you to fill out that form we give you the 3 questions and send it back over to us, and your lead consultant and I will get involved in putting together that email for you, and we send it back out to you for your review. What I'm going to show you right now are the results of one student's 3 questions, and you'll see exactly how he did it. And I love this. This is so good. I am invested in this student's deal, partially because of what he talks about in this email. That's what sold me on investing with him. I've never seen the property. I just know, like, and trust this guy. So I gave him money for the deal. I know a lot of you are like, well, that's not how you should look at the numbers. I did. I looked at it, and I really liked. Never forget. I remember what the debt coverage ratio was, and I looked at that. I'm like, hey, you can't go wrong with this debt coverage ratio. So, but I put my money in this deal, but primarily because I like this guy. And that is exactly what we're trying to get to happen for you as a new investor. So let's take a look at some of the points that he talked about. So here's his back. He said, give us some of your background. He says, I started investing in mobile home parks while still on active duty as a way to pass the time while working as a staff officer position. A stroke of luck allowed me to transfer into the special operations community, and I had the opportunity to work in Somalia. What a way to spin one new job duty. While I was there, I noticed how similar this war zone looked and felt compared to my old stomping grounds of Gary, Indiana. It was then that I decided to use my real estate talents to better my community back home. Since then, I have built a number of portfolios, all in Gary, Indiana, with the aim of helping to rebuild my community. He goes on, describe your business. Our business and our partners are dedicated to building clean, safe, and affordable communities in the Gary, Northwest Indiana marketplace. We focus on bringing quality to the affordable housing sector while also providing strong alternative investments that are secured by real estate to our partners. You liking this, everybody? Are you feeling this? What this guy's doing? Don't you want to become part of his journey? We are not just housing either. We are always growing, and with every step forward, we create new businesses and have an even greater impact on our community. We are set to have our most exciting year yet with new development projects. I'm presenting you the opportunity to be part of one of the greatest urban comebacks in modern history. I know how audacious that statement is, and I stand by it. The work is not easy, but nothing that was ever worthwhile is. Our work is providing stable communities while also providing for our investing partners serve them and their families for generations. I invite you to speak with us, hear our story, see our work, and determine for yourself if you have what it takes to be an impact investor and partner. Wow. How do you like that? Isn't that awesome? Doesn't it make you want to sign on up? I did. And he hadn't even written this yet. But this is pretty much what his story was when he gave his presentation to all of us. This is, I hate to say this because he's going to want money back, but he's not going to get it. This is what we received, what the lead consultant, Jeff Kelly, and I received. We didn't even have to change a word. I think we added click here or something like that. But we didn't even have to change a word on this presentation. Other students came in like, okay, we're going to work on it. We're going to say this. We change it. We make sure you look good. I mean, we're here to help you build your business. We are, I describe it so many ways. The Multifamily OS is really a franchise model where what we do is we help you build a franchise business. And we've already got all the systems in place to make it happen for you. This is one of the things that we have to get to you, is getting this type of document out to your investors. How do you like this, folks? How would you feel sending out this type of email to your friends and family to explain to them the new business that you're getting started running? Wouldn't that be impactful? Wouldn't it be easy? And then we're going to show you what their next step is. This is their call to action. This is what the student's call to action is. And then it's going to come back and I'll show you exactly how we do it, because we systematize everything. The whole idea between the best business is the ones that you can automate and let run. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We need this. We need your help. We've created a form. You fill in the form. You send it back. We edit it for you, put it into your investor library, and you're good to go. So every time you go and pick up someone's business card, send them this email. Get them started on the investor funnel. Okay. All right. Now let's take a look here at the final product. You ready? Take a look. I don't know if I can zoom in. No, maybe full screen. I don't know if you folks can see it, but as you can see, it's pretty much exactly. We actually used his name is in there. The name of his company is in there, and then you see this click here to join us button. Remember, this is so important. When you didn't ask those questions of Uncle Joe, you weren't building a good business. You weren't taking care of your clients. You weren't understanding what your database was worth to you, because it was just a name. But that's not good enough. We need you to build that database so that you can automate these emails so they go out all the time. All right, so let me show you. I'm going to I'm going to have Molly ringing in my ear. She's the producer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to jump on over here. And this is an example of our CRM. So all of students who are members of Multifamily OS, this is what we do here. Here are all your customers on the left: investors, brokerage houses, brokers, property owners, loans, banks, credit unions. So I'm going to actually tell more about how our CRM works and how you work with our VAs to build your CRM. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the investor tab. Investors are part of your customers. That's your customer. So we come over here, we click on investors, and then we come up here and we click on generate a link. And I'm just going to grab it right now, copy to clipboard, and I'm going to put it up here, paste and go. All right, so what happens here, share this tab instead. Okay. All right, now does everyone see this? Now I'm going to ask Molly to just send me a Vox, making sure that everybody can see this multifamily questionnaire. So what happens is, I see how I can do that. I can just click on view StreamYard. Nope, that didn't do it. Oh, yes, it did. Beautiful. Oh, good. I guess I can. Thanks, Molly. Let's see if she said it or she typed it. Yep, good to go. Good. Okay. So, folks, here is what happens: is you capture that link. That link is unique to you. That means you're going to take that link and you're going to go back into that email that we created, that initial investor email. When it says click here to sign on up, it's going to click and take your friends or family to this website where they're going to input their information, their contact information, what type of investor they are, how long they've invested, what type of deals are they looking for? Just those broad questions. We're not going to kick them out as being not accredited. That's not our job. We're going to capture them as a customer, and they go right into that CRM, right into that investor, page. That's how you're going to start building up your investor database. And then from there, you can send those off and do bulk emails. And so they get the Why Multifamily email, and we'll get that one out to them every week. And so this is how you build up your database. So when it comes time to contact, because you get a deal under contact, you've already built your own friends and family database. And then I'm going to show you later on how you then take this and broaden it to beyond your friends and family. Because I had about 500 people in my investor database when I was at the end of my first year. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So, but we automate it. We make it easy for you. This is how the CRM works. I mean, you can sign up for the mentorship program and you get all of this, or you can sign up just for the marketing component, and you get this CRM and this type of training as well with the VA. Okay, so this is how this all works. This is, I hope you get it. I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to jump on back to the screen. And then Molly, I'm going to go to the final slide in just a moment. So let me kind of run through some of these. Let me see. Okay, hello, Bonita. I'm going to clean out these calls. What is an allodial title? Javier, I don't know. Let me jump past here. John Racine standing by. Bill Califett. Okay, John Racine. I need to get with him. I'm a member of it. Yes, John. You already did. John and I had a great conversation about his market. And as a matter of fact, just so you understand how we work, I was on the call with the VAs on Wednesday. We are doing a weekly meeting, weekly catch up. And we're talking about John as a client. What do we need to do next for John? And the idea was that John's market and the type of asset that he's looking to market to wasn't broad enough. And we could only identify 500 possibilities for him. And to get started, we want him to have 1,000 properties. So we broadened it out for John, and we're going to check with John to make sure he's okay with that. But we really want for John to start his marketing efforts to have 1,000 properties that meet his criteria. Because that's a beautiful thing about this business is once you identified your market and the type of asset that you want to own, the list is finite. We can easily identify who those people are, and we can just keep marketing to those people. Every month, we send them a letter. Hey, do you want to sell? Hey, do you want to sell? Of course, of 12 months, it only takes one person to say yes, and you're off to the races. So that's, but obviously, if we have more, we want to have broaden that scope. It's a numbers game. Sales and marketing is a numbers game, and so if we can get 1,000, it gets you to start off with 1,000, and then whittle them down. Delete, and that's the other thing. If you saw in that, there's a list of tasks. Your VA goes through that list and helps you clean it out and helps you identify the owners. And also your VA is calling the owners saying, hey, do you want to sell? Hey, do you want to sell? So we're really making sure that your company's sales and marketing efforts are full steam ahead. That's what we're doing on the acquisition side. And this is what we're doing on the investor acquisition side. So it's constantly moving. We're setting up these systems. Sometimes this business, or your life gets a hold of you, and you can't focus on the multifamily when you really want to own multi. You want to get out of the rat race. The MultifamilyOS system, because of what we've set up, it's running in the background of your life and helping you find that deal so you can get out of the rat race. Okay. Yeah, Judge, I was going to say, aren't you building a captive? Yes. We're in the process of building an insurance captive for multifamily owners. So any multifamily owners out there that are interested in opening up a new market for multifamily insurance, reach out to me. Send me an email. I just have 5 questions that I need to ask you to help me build this captive, because I need to aggregate a little bit more premium, and then we're ready to pull the trigger on the deal. All right, let me see. Blake says, trying to raise money after the deal is just painful. Yeah, because first off, you lost your momentum because now you own the property and you're running as fast as you can to make sure the deal works. And now you got to go back and raise some more money. That's a tough place to be. But if you have a database that you've been cultivating and keeping people in the loop, it's going to be a lot easier to go back to those people. Hey, we already closed on it and everything's going great, but we're looking for just to raise some more capital. The guy who is a master of that is my student, Dave Peters. I'm in his deals. I've invested in his deals as well. And I get updates all the time from him on what's going on. Every month, as soon as he bought the property, I'm getting updates on what's going on in the property. And he's sending that out to his list as well. If he needs to raise more money for that deal, sell more of his interest, he's able to do it because he's been cultivating that group and he's been letting them know what's going on with the deal all the way through. So that's definitely a benefit when you have a great list because you've been working at it, that raising money after the raise, raising more money after the deal is closed is easier to do. Sorry, the deal is under contract. Yep. Sold too. Let me see. Asking questions, John. That's the name of the game. Hello, Capital Stack. And then also, I remember Gary, Indiana, 50 years ago. They're still looking for you, Ben. Yeah, you left something there. You got to go back and get it. Okay, so that is that's that. So let me that's what we do. I hope all you folks understand this. The whole idea is to get to 1,000 apartment units. You've got to build it systematically. If you're looking for money, as soon as you find a deal, you're in trouble. Don't be that guy. So, and I know, it's awfully hard asking people for money. It's embarrassing. You think that you got your hat in your hand, but when you make it all about storytelling and telling stories, it changes things. Look at this guy's deal. Look at my student's deal. Look how he wrote it up. Don't you want to be a part of that? I did. Sold me. That's awesome. That's exactly the way to do it. All right. Let me see. Ben AJ's got a question. Let me see. Does raising money like that after the deal cause dilution like the stock equity offerings? Okay, let's talk about that. All right. What AJ is asking is, okay, well, if you said that I was going to get X percent of the deal on a preferred return, and after the deal is closed, you're still out there raising money, isn't that going to dilute my interest in what you said I was going to get? Does anybody know what my answer is going to be? Can anybody tell you what the lawyer answer is? Who's going to type it in? You're presenting potential investors with an opportunity. Yeah. Okay. No, that's not the answer, Deborah. What's the answer I'm going to say regarding AJ's question? It depends. That's right, AJ. It depends. Okay. So let's run through a couple of scenarios. First off, we talk about raising additional money, and AJ is talking about dilution. My first question is, my first question. Yeah, sure, Deb. You still don't get any credit for that. No, don't even try. My first question is it debt or is it equity? Okay, so if we are looking to raise more money by issuing a debt instrument like a note, well, then in that particular case, it will not dilute the membership interest that exists in that LLC. All right, and I'm talking about LLCs. The terminology I'm using is because this is how I've always set up my companies. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now, if it's not debt, then it's going to be equity. Okay, so here's the deal. If you're dealing with a preferred equity arrangement, then you might have an issue. And this might get very technical, but I really want everybody to understand this. So let's say, for instance, that I sell 50% of the company to outside investors. And I tell those outside investors that if you buy into this class, the outside investor class, the first 9%, the first distributions that come into the company will be paid back to you until you get to 9% of what you gave to us. All right. 9% pref. Okay. Now look at the other 50%. The other 50% is owned by me. Now, do I get 9%? No, I get what's left over, and I hope it's a lot. But at the end of the day, when we go to sell the company, I'm going to get 50% of the equity. All right. So that's what we kind of call sweat equity. So in this particular case, we have two membership classes in the group. 50% is outside investors, 50% is me. So AJ asked the question, well, if we sell more after the closing, doesn't that just dilute what we have? Okay. Now, when I set that company up, I looked at the returns. I figured out what can this property generate off of what I think it's going to generate. I think I can give half of the members a 9% return. Okay. So that's how we're going to sell this. 50% ownership gets 9%. Another 50% may gets whatever's left over. So then I need to raise more money. So the first question that becomes, I asked to answer AJ is, are we selling to raise more money? Have we sold out the initial 50%? Because if we haven't, we've got plenty of room. We can still sell more membership interests of the outside members and not dilute. Okay, but guess what, Charlie? We did sell all 50, but we still want to raise more money. Okay, well then I guess that's coming out of my hide. And if I sell 10% of my 50%, whatever that investor buys of that 10%, that money goes right into my pocket and my kid's pocket. That's mine. I own 50%. So now I own 40% of the inside members, and this new guy owns 10%. Have we diluted the outside members, the 9% preferred members? No, because it's still 50%. And the person that just bought the 10, they can only buy that which I own. I don't own the 9% pref. So that guy's not getting that. He's getting what I own, 10% of the inside members, me. Okay, now AJ, here's where you get yourself into trouble. Let's sell more of the 9% preferred. We'll give up more. Okay, now wait a minute. Remember back when we first looked at this deal, and I thought, okay, based upon these numbers, I can give 50% of the people 9%, but I can't afford to give any more. Oh, well, yeah, forget about that. We'll make a lot of money. Let's sell more membership interests. I think Mel Brooks made a play out of it called The Producers. Don't do it, because you also have to look at the operating agreement and read what exactly you're allowed to sell. You have to go back and look at the PPM to see what you told them you were going to do. Because if you did what AJ was asking by selling off more of a particular class that you told people you wouldn't do, you're in trouble. So great question, AJ. I hope that answers what you're talking about. Now, let me see what these comments are over here. Yeah, sure, Deb. Charles, man, love watching you put on a clinic to the apartment shark pool first. Yeah, thanks, Capital Stack. It's coming back to a Zoom channel near you. So stay tuned. There'll be more of it. AJ says, got it. Equity, dilution, and debt. Okay, so equity is dilution, debt is not. Right. Debt is not dilution. Debt is a burden. Okay. So a real burden. If you sell more debt, you've got to add that number into your debt coverage ratio calculation and see if the property can support it. Okay. It's amazing how all of these things work together and fit, but it's a beautiful ballet. And it's definitely something that once you get the hang of it, it's really, really cool. Okay. Let's see if I can pronounce this name. Tashani Moy. Of course, I pronounced it correctly. Please. I was going to name my youngest child Tashani. Okay, when you don't know what you don't know, it can hurt you. Okay, oh yeah, I was that girl. Oh no, Tashani, no, don't make me. Oh, trying to raise money after the fact. Yeah, I thought that if I had a deal, the money would fall. Oh my good, working harder or smarter. Oh my gosh, when I first got into this business, one of the gurus that I followed, that's what he said. If you have, if you own the cow, you get the milk. If you had the deal, the money was going to follow. That changed. But way back then, I believe that was really true. But now that is no longer the case. You have to work hard. You have to work smart, and you have to beat out the other guy. There's a lot of competition out there. There are all these syndicators. I think there's one guru that just teaches how to become a syndicator. And I tell you, I was having a conversation with Dave Peters and Jillian Sidoti, and I said, I really liken this whole new syndication world where everybody and their brother's becoming a syndicator because they're all into passive investing. This is the next form of multi-level marketing. You're bringing all your friends and family in. You're taking a cut of it. You're throwing, and you're not taking on any risk. That becomes somebody else's problem. If you look to see how multi-level marketing works, the syndication model that these gurus are teaching is exactly the same thing. It's not a long form model. Let me see. Here we go. Rick Smith. Geez, how do I know Rick Smith? When it's time to sell, everybody has to agree to sell. No. Are they have any ground to argue with the amount left over that should a lot bigger than 9%? No, Rick. In the subscription agreement, it clearly states that when you buy in, this is what you're going to get. All right. That statement in the subscription agreement then gets translated over into the operating agreement. And within the operating agreement, there will be an explanation as to the levels of classes that will tie back in directly to what you purchased back on day one when you first saw that PPM. You can amend the operating agreement, but the way to amend it is explained early on as well. So you've got to understand this going in. You really have to have faith that, people don't read the operating agreement. I love reading operating agreements. They fascinate me to understand how people think they're going to be running their companies. Now, the thing is that Rick talks about how everybody has to agree to sell. Okay, let me let you in on a little something that always concerns me. If I'm talking to an investor and he says, yeah, this is such a great deal, and then what we're going to do is we're going to refinance after a certain amount of time, and then we're going to buy out we're going to cash out all the investors, and they're going to go their merry way, and we're going to be left owning the property. Isn't that great? Isn't that fantastic? And the answer is, you better clearly define that in the PPM and the operating agreement as to how you're going to do it. Because as Rick says here, or do they have any grounds to argue about the money left over? Okay, I'm going to take that question and kind of flip it over. The people who are left, who are being bought out, what if they don't agree to the valuation that you came up with to buy them out? I mean, you have a fiduciary responsibility to your investors. And if they're not happy with what they got bought out for, well, boy, they're going to come back at you. You've set yourself up for a problem. So that is something that you always have to consider. You have to make sure that your investors understand that your goal is to pay them back, refi the property, pay them back, send them on their merry way, and they're done. What if they don't want to go in their merry way? What if they get this money back and they don't see any other better investment? They want to keep it in this deal. I mean, that you've got to make sure that you clearly define that in your documents. Otherwise, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because you're going to have a lot of membership complaints coming at you, and that's no way to run a business. You want these people putting their money back into your next deal. That's how you build a great business. My most successful students are the ones that never have to raise money, because their customers, their investor class customers, just get their money back. So what's next? Give me another one. I want to put more money. And they grow their business that way. And that's how you should be looking at your business. Not as good as my office water, but it's good. All right, here we go. AJ comes back and says, got it. So you can localize the dilution to protect investors as needed. That's an interesting way to put it. Localize the dilution. You can keep it in one separate class, but don't dilute that class if it's already sold out. Sold out, it's sold out. You know, that's it. Gregory Solcia. Gregory Solcia is back. Let me see. TP man here. Yes. Charlie, how can I get in touch with you once this session is over? I have a meeting at 5 o'clock, Greg. Send me a text. Do you know my cell phone? Reach out to Molly. Molly, get Greg on my schedule, okay? Molly handles my schedule. She's my gatekeeper. You gotta to get through me, you must go through him. She's Jesus. I'm not being sacrilegious, okay? But yeah, so that's reach out to Molly. She's the one that's going to be able to get a hold of it. And I see this next one. He finally learned how to change the name. When raising money via debt, no, do you still need to register? Oh, okay. That's a great question. And I'm a lawyer. I'm not your lawyer. You're going to hire a lawyer. Securities law is not my expertise. It's not my thing. But what I'm going to tell you is what Jillian Sidoti used to teach at her old training program class. She would put up a slide, and on that slide, she would define everything that is a security. But she kind of overrode it by saying that anything that a person purchases with their money in order to generate a profit, with the intent or with the belief that they're going to generate a profit, that's a security. There's some very broad definition from the SEC of what a security is, and then they list them all out. Well, guess what? A note is a security instrument. It really is. So that would fall under that, and it should be governed by the SEC. But there's no way that they could keep track of all that stuff. But nevertheless, you still always have to act like you're being covered by the SEC. And you should always get lawyers involved. I'm not trying to cover my brothers, but the fact is that, guys, you do something stupid that a lawyer could have just protected you all the way. You cannot imagine the problems that you can get yourself into that could have been solved so easily. That's why, when I describe the multifamily OS, you're buying into a business model, and within that business model, you're coming with employees, the VAs, the CRMs, the systems, the training, people working for you. You also come with a legal team. We're not your lawyers. I keep stressing that, but you're going to have people working for you who are lawyers, making sure you don't make any mistakes. Okay. And then telling you, make sure you hire an attorney. Whenever, you always need local counsel. You always need local counsel. And, but we want to make sure that your contracts are done correctly so that you can turn them over to local counsel for blessing, saving you a whole lot of dough. But also our expertise is in the multifamily transaction. We've done thousands of them, and we don't want to see our clients, our students get into trouble because some guru gave them bad advice. All right. Every time we refinance, we've had another property for the investors to put their money into, and they've always reinvested. Absolutely. Isn't that awesome? That's a beautiful thing about this business. That's what Blake does. Blake's a student of mine, but also my biggest student does the same thing. He has another deal ready to go, and they just refinance right in. Say, hey, well, how are you going to raise the money? I'm selling that property. I'm refinancing that property. My investors will put it right back in. And it's, I would love to know if someone invested with him. Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to ask him that question. If somebody invested with him early on, how much money would they have now? Like if they invested $1, what would that dollar be now? I'm going to ask him that question, and I'll see if I can get an answer and get it back to you on it. Great stuff. All right. Hey, Gregory, feel free to, okay, there you go. Good. We're taking care of Greg. Let's see. Thanks for you got it, Evan. Let me see, Rick. Okay, local where the apartment is or where I live? No, you okay? Okay, so Rick's really getting a lesson here today. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's see here. There is typically a provision in most contracts, especially purchase and sale. It's called choice of law and choice of forum. Now, you know, it's interesting that we lawyers split up the two, and we say choice of law, meaning do we use my state's law or do we use your state's law? And then choice of forum. Well, where are we going to hold court? In my state, in your state, in a third state? So it's actually, you can write a contract so that you have Massachusetts law, but we're going to have the judge in Texas rule on it. So that's those are two, the choice of law and choice of forum. So what you're talking about here, Rick, is where do we choose the lawyer that's going to represent us? Okay, well, you know, if you're using my purchase and sale contract, I tell you to choose the state that you want to be in. Or they may come back and say, no, we're going to do the law and the forum where the property is located in. If that's the case, you want counsel for wherever the property is going to be cited. And for instance, if we use if the contract uses Oklahoma law, you want an Oklahoma lawyer, even though we're dealing with, we're going to hold any hearings or court proceedings in Massachusetts, because we follow the law. Forum can be anywhere, but we follow the law. And Oklahoma law is different regarding purchase and sale contracts than Massachusetts law. So you want to make sure that the lawyer that you choose follows the law. And so make sure that that's wherever you follow the law is where you need to hire the lawyer. I hope that answered the question. There was your little, your law school lesson. Evan's in the chat. I'm holding on to Zoom user. Okay, well, cool. All right, yeah, he's probably hiding from some debt collector. So, all right, good. All right, so that's that. How did I do? 40 people. I think we're up to 49 earlier. I'm gonna send you away with a little fun. This was, we got more going on. Let me jump back on over here, add this to the screen. Now watch this, folks. This next slide, I'm going to take you through. I'm going to give you another little lesson. So because of, years that I've been doing this and the notoriety that I've received, I get a lot of people call me up and they want to, ask me about particular properties. I only deal with my clients. But this guy sends me over a deal, and I'm thinking, okay, if it's an interesting deal, I like the market that this guy's talking about, but maybe I can kick it over to my clients. Maybe I can work with one of my clients in the deal and see if we can end up doing something. So I decide I'll take a look at it. Now, what I'm going to put up here now is the email that I received from this guy. I've subsequently gone back and asked for additional information, but I just want to give you the highlights from what he sent over to me, and see if you can pick up on the issues with this particular the issues with this particular deal and things that are essentially red flags in the deal. Okay. And what I've done is I did not ask permission. I'm sorry. I did not ask permission from this particular person to put this up here. So I've stripped away any information that would identify what property this is. So it's really, it should be, I should be fine by that. Okay. So here's what they sent over. So many units, so many buildings. I X that out because if you guys know that if you know where the property is located and you know how many units, you can just jump on CoStar or something and you can identify pretty much where that property is. So what it is, it's an assumable mortgage. Now the loan to value, remember, we don't know what the value is. We're the one making the offer. The loan to value is 49.8, so 50% LTV, which is about $2.5 million. So you're looking about, they're thinking a value of right around $5 million. Interest rate of 3.69, awesome interest rate for a term of 12 years with a 30-year AM. Equity of 2.5, yeah, that's what we said. Well, why are you telling me what the equity is? I'll decide the equity based upon what I decide is the right price for this property, not him. Now, the outstanding maturity is 1.8. I don't understand the difference between the loan balance and the outstanding maturity. And then the term left is 14 months, but he said the term was 12 years. Maybe what he said was the term is 12, it's a 12-year term, and we only have 14 months left to go, which is probably correct because in this particular case, there's 50%. If they bought this property originally at 80% LTV and they paid down 50% down, or 50% value of the value, then they probably have had this loan for several years, and it might mature in 14 months, and then you're going to be getting a new mortgage anyway. Gross annual income, annual expenses. Okay, you can figure out what the expense ratio is from that point. Built in 1984. Okay, so it's a little long in the tooth. Kitchens, cabinets, all the renovations, what have you. What's the thing that jumps out here to everyone? There are two things. There are two things, in my estimation, that make this deal tough to do. And I'm wondering if anybody here on the call, let me scroll on down. Let's see. Let me see. Nope, nobody's posted yet. Anybody pick up on what it is about this particular deal that has me concerned? Yeah, okay. AJ comes back. I'm going to give AJ an A for one of the answers. The leverage is, it's actually too low, but you know what I mean. I think you were saying the same thing. We're looking at a 50% LTV. That means I got to come up with another 30% to get to 80% LTV, which is typically where I like to buy my GSE, Fannie or Freddie deals, which means that I've got to put 50% down on this deal, which is going to kill my cash on cash return, which means that what I'm going to have to be able to offer him is probably not going to work. So my next question to him was, is a supplemental loan available? And that's a loan that you can get from the GSE, from the Fannie or the Freddie, where they add it on top of the existing loan while it's, whatever reason, you can put the money in your pocket, or you can ratchet up the debt amount to get up to more realistic LTV, so that anyone looking to sell the property will be able to sell it such that the cash on cash return will be what most investors like to see. So AJ, that's number one. And if they come, and usually they only give you one supplemental loan in the life of the property. So if the current owner over the last 12 years has already had a supplemental loan, we're not getting another one, and this deal is not going to get done. Let me see. 30 years too long for multifamily deal amortizing? No, 30 years is great. You can typically only get them from the GSEs. You go to a local lender, Fred's Bank, Frank's Bank, they're going to be 20, 25 years. So getting a 30-year, that's a benefit. That tells me right away that we're dealing with a probably a dust lender, a GSE. Yeah, I meant too low. Okay. All right. There's one more thing about this deal that that stymies me. That says to me, no, not interested. No. Can anyone get it? It's put yourself. Let's say you bought this property. Let's say whatever it was, you got this deal done. What's the next thing you have to be concerned about? What's the next thing that's going to keep you up at night? Oh, come on. Anybody? Do you need a hint? Who needs a hint? Let me see if I can. Let me see. Oh, Ricky gets the remaining A. The annual income is at no, that's not. I didn't even look at the numbers. I didn't even look at the annual. No, I didn't even do the debt coverage ratio to figure out if there's enough money in the NOI to pay the bills. It probably will at a 50% LTV, but Rick Smith gets the prize. There's only 14 months left. I buy this property. I got to turn around and start lining up my next round of financing. And do you want to be taking, if I sat down and I analyzed this deal and I put my numbers into my analyzer, what interest rate am I going to be using in my analysis 14 months from now? Do you think it's going to be anywhere next to the 3.69 that this guy's currently at? Hell to the no. It's going to be up around 5.5. That makes this entire deal DOA. We cannot get this deal done. Folks, the other guy can't get the deal done either. Yeah, definitely not 3.69. The other guy can't get this deal done either. Don't be that guy. Wait 14 months. Find out. Call me up and say, Charlie, can you run this address? And I want to find out who the lender is. And then I want to find out who the special servicer is with that lender. This guy will probably be able to sell the property because he's got so much equity in it. He'll be able to pay off the loan. So it might not even go to the special servicer, but you want to talk to this guy when that 6 months before this loan matures. You want to talk to this guy and say, let me buy this property from you. Because at that time, he will be able to cover to pay off the loan, and he won't have any prepayment penalties. That's when you need to start talking to this guy. And Tamara, what about Tamara? She can't even spell NOI. Yes, Tamara. Let me see. Let me go run through these, and then I got to jump off. What's Rick said? 7.8. So is that what the interest rate is? You think? Definitely not 3.9, as AJ says. Tamara, I'm teasing with you. And NOI should be higher than the mortgage payments, right? But the thing is, Tamara, we haven't. At least I haven't calculated. Maybe somebody did on their phone. They calculated what the debt coverage ratio is on this deal. I don't think there's going to be a problem unless this guy is really mismanaging this property and has not increased the rents over the years. But with only a 50% LTV, it means the guy's had the property for a while. There probably shouldn't be any problem covering that note. Let's see. How much is the interest rates? The interest rates right now in this deal is 3.69. I mean, what are we looking at? It depends upon, it depends upon the term, depends upon the location, how many, what the size of the note. So, we could peg it around 4.5 to 6 is what I'm seeing some interest rates. And then we'll have to figure out exactly what type of an asset it is. Is it A, B, or C? It's probably solid C. What if you bring private money and pay off the bank? Okay, you can. Okay, Rick, but wait a minute here. You can do that, but this guy's not in any distress. So he wants his equity. He wants to make $2.5 million in this. We can go pay off the balance at 2.489, but the seller's not going to be left sitting there like, hey, wait a minute, where's my money? So we can't, if we use private money, we can go pay off the 5 million, no problem. Maybe what you're talking about is, Rick, maybe if we pay off and not assume it, buy it at the market rate and not assume it, and let the owner pay the prepayment penalty or the yield maintenance or the defeasance. He's going to wait till he has 6 months left of the deal when that prepayment penalty goes away, because that prepayment penalty may be stiff. That's why people do assumptions, because they don't want to have to pay that money. NOI. There you go, Tamara. I was teasing with you. All right, everybody. Wow, it's 5 o'clock. What the heck? What the even heck? This goes by faster than I thought. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. How do I end this? Do I just put it back here? Yeah. Snow day today. That's why I'm wearing my Ghost and Mrs. Muir costume. I know Molly has no idea what I'm talking about. She has no clue. What she's Googling Ghost and Mrs. Muir right now. She's trying to figure out how you spell Mrs. Muir. M-U-I-R, Molly. All right, everybody. Great to see you. I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you next week. Wait a minute. Tamara says, could you please contact me when you have a minute? I have an apartment building for sale. Okay, Tamara, get in touch with Molly. Send me over the information. Send me over the information, and I will take a look at it. I always love to figure out the apartment building for sale. I tell you, there was one, those people that follow the apartment, multifamily shark pool. One of the guys that I read the riot act to, I think you all remember who that is. He bought the property and then sold it 3 days later. Something like that. I think there should be a follow-up episode of the multifamily shark pool to say what happened to some of those deals. Let's see. Tamara, feel free to email me. There you go, Tamara. That's the email. Reach out to Molly and Deb, and they can get it over to me. So, all right, everybody. Great to see you all. I'm going to end the broadcast, and I do it. And then I've learned long enough now that I end the broadcast and I keep on talking because if I just hit the end broadcast button and I just stare there, I just look at you for like 30 seconds. So I'm going to hit the end broadcast. Yes. And keep talking, everybody. Be